I mostly read public domain books here on Glenn Reads Books to You, and they were written a long time ago, so they're usually racist, or sexist, or bigoted, but in there somewhere is a story, and that's why those stories are famous. Other times, I read works from independent authors, and they're delightfully not racist, but they might have adult language or adult situations, like, making sex. So that's your warning, but I'm sure you're grown up enough to handle it. Don't write to me complaining. What do I do if he asks me about my opinions on AI? And son of a... All right, fine. Take a seat, you little piece of shit. So I was just reflecting on the fact that I had one of many one-on-ones with my boss's boss at my company, and he's a nice guy, but he has no idea who I am or what I do. And it's mandatory for him. Once every 3 months, I wind up being forced to talk to him, but I got shit to do, and he's also got shit to do, and we don't want to talk to each other. So he will say, Glenn, what do you do? But he doesn't want to say that directly because he wants to act like he knows who I am and what I do, and I should be afraid of him. But I'm not afraid of him because he doesn't know who the hell I am. And so I could shoot him at any moment. He doesn't even know that. So we have these like weird discussions, and it always boils down to just like me having to lead a discussion, which is weird for him as a leader of men. And I say, and I talk about like my stomach issues or how I'm afraid of cancer. And these are not exaggerations. These have really happened. And so then and last time I made the mistake of talking about AI. And I said, I hate that I can't like find an image made by a human because it's everything on Google and Pinterest and everything else is all flooded with AI. And I can't find anything like written by a human recently because it's all written by AI. And I do a search for like why does my cat have diarrhea? And all you get sent to on Google is just like a bunch of websites built by AI, so you don't actually like get any real advice on cats with diarrhea. And so he talked to me about how like, oh no, and he loves AI. He's got side projects apparently. He's got little side gigs, and so he says, don't worry about it. AI is here to help us, not hurt us. So I'm like, really? You got to do a lot of convincing because AI has just been a pain in the ass for everyone. First of all, it doesn't really do anything. Apple and Google are replacing their assistants with it, and it's useless. Oh, yeah, you tell Google, go ahead, put something on my calendar, and Google's like, I can't do that yet. And I'm like, okay, well, can you put this stuff on my grocery list? And oh boy, I wish I could, but I can't do that yet either. And it's like, but what the fuck are you doing here? Same with Apple. I got an iPhone recently, and I was like, so now Apple's got AI. Okay, so Apple's all about being the best, right? So go on, add something to my to-do list. Nope, can't do it. Send an email to, I don't know, my dad or something, and it's like, now I'm just AI, I can't do that yet, but I can write you a story or give you an itinerary for your trip to France back in 1978, if that's something you want to do. Do you want me to try to tell you if it's okay for your cat to eat rocks? Because I'll probably tell you it's okay. So I said, fuck this. Christmas is coming up. I was going to read the sci-fi story, but I realized, oh my God, no, this is the week of Christmas. So I should I could not find a Christmas story fast enough that's short enough for you to read. So now I had it written by AI. So I'm writing, this whole story is written by AI. Oh, all right. Well, okay, that's the grandfather clock telling me to shut the hell up. Why don't we go down to the library and I can read to you this story of the rise of the Crimson Claus by AI. Well, there you go. Why don't you get yourself seated? I got a new heated blanket from Target today. A new one. You plug it to the wall, and it's a whole blanket. I'm figuring out this whole, like, heated thing that my sister and brother-in-law were doing over at their place. And, when you get a modern heating blanket or heating pad, it's a whole industry they've definitely improved lately, and it's fantastic. So I got this heating blanket, and I just curl up like a kitten on my couch, and I just sit there and I watch Christmas holiday movies, which over time my wife watches them constantly, and so over time I'm like, this is funny, this is so campy, this is so stupid, and like, and then you watch the second one, like, yeah, they follow the same formula. It's always somebody, usually a woman from the big city of New York or Seattle or something, and they got to go to the small town they grew up in, or just any small town for like a news segment or something, and they go there, and then they realize, there's a love interest there, and what kind of woman needs to have a career? Why don't I just live here in this town where everyone is obsessed with Christmas? And so I'm going to throw away my career and just be a kept woman in this small town, a town with, 1,000 people obsessed with one holiday. What do they do with the rest of the year? Like the heat of July. The heat of July. And they're like, oh, God, I can't wait till it's Christmas. And it's kind of like how I get excited, like, it's September. Pretty soon October's coming, and I'm going to get real excited for fall and a little cocoa. And decorate for Halloween and make it a pumpkin and that kind of thing. But for them, it's just like, it's July, and I can't wait till it's cold, and I can decorate everything like a trad wife in like little white lights, because I hate. And like white Christmas lights is like the beige of Christmas. It's just like you have no soul, you make everything white Christmas lights. So anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. Snuggling up on my blankets and then just enjoying the season. Why don't you enjoy this electric blanket that I provide to you, sir or madam, so that you can enjoy yourself here in my library on these leather log-hide chairs, as I let you know about the latest upcoming story that I wrote from AI called Evil Santa Claus. That's the title it came up with. So my first prompt, because if you're going to do AI, it's all about the prompts. The people consider themselves artists because they write words to make it do the work for them. My prompt was, write a short Christmas story about an evil Santa Claus taking over a peaceful pagan holiday with crass materialism successfully to become the Christmas holiday we know today. And it wasn't very long. So I wrote, elaborate on the story to make it longer. It was a little bit longer, but not very long. So I said, elaborate on the story, but include a child with a disability that Santa finds annoying distraction from his work. And it wasn't that much longer. And I said, elaborate on the story, make it longer. And it wasn't that much longer. I said, elaborate on the story and include how Santa hates people from Iowa and how they don't contribute to society in any way and how he sees them all to be similar to the boy with the twisted leg. So I cheated. Normally when I read anything for my podcast, I don't really read ahead of time. I just okay, I'm going to open it up and start reading. In this one, I kind of scanned it to find out what offensive thing they might say about this kid with a disability. But I saw the words twisted leg, and I'm like, not the most offensive thing in the world. So I wrote that in there. That he sees the Iowa people will all be similar with the boy with the twisted leg. It wasn't very long. Elaborate the story, make it longer. Still wasn't very long. I said, elaborate the story, make it longer, and add an elf that Santa wishes was dead. And it was a little bit longer, but not enough to make a good, full story for you people. It's elaborate the story, make it longer, still not long enough. So then I got to Google and I said, how many words are in a story that takes 20 minutes to read? And they said 2,600 words. So I said, elaborate the story and make it 2,600 words. And then it said, certainly, exclamation point. A 2,600 word story offers space to explore deeper character development, more intricate settings, and a nuanced conflict. Here's an expanded version of, quote, The Rise of the Crimson Claus, with rich details and new subplots. So that sounds promising. I haven't read a word about that so far, and we are all going to read this together. So let's get wet. The Rise of the Crimson Claus. Long ago, before the world's winters were adorned with jingling bells and the glowing lights, the season of the solstice was a time of quiet reverence. As the darkest days of the year loomed, families gathered to honor the natural world. They lit fires to coax the sun's return, exchanged handmade gifts, and sang songs to unseen spirits, celebrating the enduring cycle of life. In those days, far in the northernmost reaches of the world, an icy fortress stood among the glaciers. Within its frozen halls dwelled a being unlike any other, Claus. Oh, he was no guardian of the nature or the ancient spirit of the earth. Claus was born of greed and ambition, a shadowy figure forged with the envy and malice of humanity. From his frostbitten throne, he gazed down upon the world with disdain. They honor invisible forces, Claus muttered, his breath misting in icy air. Oh, they light their pitiful fires, carve their wooden trinkets, and cling their fragile traditions. What pathetic creatures! They grovel before the sun and the earth when they could serve me. I will seize this season and make it my own. They will forget their old gods and bow only to Claus. Okay, well, Undecided made a good point about how AI blows, but so far this isn't the worst thing I've ever read. Claus's heart burned with envy for the joy humans found in simplicity. Oh, he yearned to dominate, to reshape the solstice in a monument to his power. He envisioned a world where his name was whispered in awe, where every winter celebration revolved around his image. To achieve this, he needed tools, treasures so wondrous that they would blind humanity to the beauty of their own traditions. Well, within his fortress, Claus established a workshop. Oh, he enslaved small, industrious creatures known as elves, forcing them to craft intricate toys and dazzling treasures. Among these elves was Merrick, a sharp-witted and spirited worker who loathed Claus's cruelty. While the other elves toiled silently, Merrick spoke out against their master. One day, as Claus inspected the workshop, Merrick dared to approach. "Why, do we all need this?" he asked, gesturing to the glittering mountains of toys. "The people already have joy in their lives. What you're doing isn't about giving, it's about taking. You're stealing their traditions and replacing them with ... this." Oh, Claus turned, his icy eyes narrowing. He loomed over Merrick, his voice a growl. "You exist to serve, Merrick, not to question. Your hands will work, and your head will roll." But Merrick's spirit was unyielding. Over the years, he became a thorn in Claus' side, subtly sabotaging toys, whispering stories of resistance to his fellow workers, and planting seeds of doubt in the hearts of those around him. Claus's hatred for Merrick grew with every passing day. "That elf is a pest," Claus snarled to his chief overseer one evening. There's an overseer now? "Were it not for his skill, I would have crushed him long ago. He doesn't deserve to breathe the same air as I do." Wow. Well, okay, we're at the halfway point on a story that's not very long, but I gotta say it's not the worst thing I've ever read. I mean, it's funny. It's not like artful, but it's funny. So with that, why don't we go down to my basement, which is a great place to go after reading something by AI, and just talk about the latest upcoming books from Penguin Random House. Oh, there you are. Welcome to my basement. No, it's not weird down here. Shut up. It's fine. Sit there in that folding chair underneath that naked light bulb as I stand here underneath this naked light bulb in a basement that I've cleared out recently after the last election because I want to start over. I want to start fresh. And so there's nothing down here. There's still a TV, but I ripped out the Google television because I don't want to use Google products anymore. I'm starting new. So why don't we learn about the latest upcoming Penguin Random House book, Inner City Hoodlum, by Donald Goines. It's a crime fiction about the Inner City Hoodlum, the last novel, really, the last one, by Donald Goines, the OG master of urban lit, a gritty, graphic thrill ride of relentless street violence, desperate measures, and brutal, unstoppable revenge. Sounds kind of awesome. Okay, Johnny Washington is a ruthless survivor, a black teen raised on the streets of L.A., a battlefield of broken families, rival gangs, and minimum wage, all under the cold, watchful eye of the men and in blue. They mean the men in blue? of the men in blue. But Johnny found a loophole. He knows the freight yard. It's like the back of his hand. He and his crew, Josh and Buddy, what kind of names are those? Hit them often, stealing just enough to get by, until Josh is gunned down by a security guard, who gets his brains bashed in by Buddy. Out of options, Johnny turns to Elliot Davis, a local kingpin who recruits and exploits Johnny's sister until she's no longer useful. Fueled by her pointless, inevitable death, Johnny and Buddy come after Davis with guns blazing and ready for all the smoke. Okay, well, I'm seeing the name Johnny. I'm seeing the name Josh, Buddy. I'm seeing Josh was gunned down. Elliot Davis. He turns to Elliot Davis, a local kingpin. These are all like just suburban dorky white people names. Who wrote this? Donald Goines? But the cover's got a guy like a 1970s afro with 1970s glasses, and he's holding nunchucks. It's like a comedy? I can't tell. I can't tell if it's like a comedy or something. It doesn't seem like an awesome novel like I was hoping it was going to be. Well, anyways, Inner City Hoodlum by Donald Goines. It's crime fiction for paperback for $17.95. Comes out December 24th. Oh, right before Christmas. He's thinking that people are going to rush on Christmas Eve, and they're going to rush to the bookstores and oh God, give me Inner City Hoodlum, and they're like, it's Christmas Eve, we don't have enough stuff. Shut the fuck up, and slap him in the face. Give me Donald Goines' Inner City Hoodlum, which you can get from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Bookshop.org, Hudson Booksellers, Powell's, Target, and the entire scene I just described about the slapping and the demanding of a certain book to confuse people that are understaffed makes sense at Walmart. Well, with that, why don't we go back upstairs and continue reading a computer's book? Well, all right, you're back. Go ahead, get yourself seated. There with my electric blanket. No, it's not weird. It doesn't mean I'm old that I like just get under there. You know you like it. Just get under. It's warm and snuggly in my Naugahyde library chair as I read to you the rest of this AI story. Claus's plan came to fruition on a bitter winter night. Draped in his crimson cloak, he descended from his icy citadel to a small village nestled in a snow-covered valley. The villagers were gathered around a roaring Yule log. Ow! Singing songs of the solstice and exchanging handmade gifts. Again, like last time, their laughter and music echoed through the frosty air, a celebration of survival and hope. Claus's booming laughter interrupted their songs. Fear not, he called, his voice commanding a deep. I bring gifts and wonders from a faraway land. Let me show you a new way to celebrate, one that will bring you joy beyond measure. The villagers turned, startled by the imposing figure. Claus opened his sack, and from his depths it spilled treasures unlike anything they'd ever seen. Ow! Gleaming toys, huh? Intricate ornaments and coins that sparkled like stars. The children gasped and rushed forward, drawn to the glittering prizes. But not all were entranced. At the edge of the crowd stood a boy named Finn, leaning on his crutch. Born with a twisted leg, Finn had grown up questioning the world around him, his keen mind unclouded by the distractions that captivated others. While the villagers marveled at Claus's gifts, Finn approached him cautiously. Why are you doing this? He asked, his voice quiet but firm. Claus's smile did not reach his eyes. To bring joy to your village, of course. Finn frowned. But what happens to our Yule log? Our songs and the spirits we honor? Do they matter anymore? Claus's smile faded. He leaned down, his voice a cold whisper. You think too much, boy. Accept my gifts or be left with nothing. Over the years, Claus's influence spread like wildfire. He returned to the villages each winter, introducing his gifts and reshaping traditions. The solstice became a spectacle of consumption and excess, with Claus at its center. Oh, he created the concept of naughty and nice, dividing humanity into these deserving of his treasures and those to be punished with emptiness. Yet resistance simmered in the corners of this world. In Iowa, a region Claus viewed with particular disdain, families clung to their old ways. To Claus, Iowa represented everything he loathed: simplicity, humility, and defiance. I don't think Iowa's really known for defiance. It's just known for being a red state. They're like that boy with the twisted leg, Claus snarled one evening. Weak, stubborn, and insignificant, they refuse to embrace progress, clinging to their useless traditions. Why waste my treasures on such a barren land? Claus skipped over Iowa each year, leaving his fields and towns untouched by his sleigh. But the people of Iowa were undeterred. They continued to light their Yule fires, to carve their gifts, and to sing their songs, passing down the old ways in defiance of Claus's empire. Okay, I gotta admit, this is pretty fucking hilarious. I love that Iowa is like this bastion for pagan rituals and stuff. Back in the icy citadel, Merrick's rebellion grew bolder. He replaced polished toys with the crude wooden carvings. Now sabotaged Claus' sleigh, and he whispered tales of solstice to his fellow elves. His acts of defiance inspired others, but they also drew Claus's ire. One night, Claus stormed into Merrick's cell, his fury palpable. "You cannot win," he hissed. "The world belongs to me now. Your pathetic resistance is nothing but a flickering candle against a storm." Merrick's gaze was steady. "The solstice is older than you, Claus. Oh, its light will outlast your shadow." Meanwhile, Finn, now a young man, became a symbol of defiance in his village and beyond. He traveled to Iowa and other resistant regions, sharing stories of the solstice and rekindling forgotten traditions. His twisted leg slowed his steps, but never his spirit. His words inspired others to stand against Claus's dominion. As Finn's efforts grew, Merrick's sabotage intensified. Together, the boy and the elf became the heart of resistance, a spark that refused to be extinguished. One fateful winter, Claus decided to make an example of Iowa. He descended upon the region with his full force, determined to crush its defiance once and for all. But as he landed in a snow-covered field, he was met not with fear, but with quiet resolve. Families gathered around their Yule fires, singing songs of solstice, and in their hands were simple handmade gifts, symbols of their enduring traditions. Claus bellowed with rage. You dare defy me? Yeah, I'm the master of the season. I am Claus." From the crowd, Finn stepped forward, leaning on his crutch. "You're nothing but a thief," he said, his voice clear and unwavering. "Yeah, you've stolen what doesn't belong to you, and you can't steal our spirit." Before Claus could respond, a thunderous crack echoed through the air, and from the shadows emerged Merrick and a group of elves who had joined the resistance, and they had sabotaged Claus's sleigh, rendering him unable to flee. Claus roared in fury, his crimson cloak billowing like a storm cloud. But as he prepared to unleash his wrath, the villagers stood their ground, their songs rising in defiance. Their voices, joined by the elves, created a melody that seemed to pierce the very fabric of the night. For the first time, Claus felt something he had not experienced in centuries: fear. The combined strength of human determination, the elven rebellion, was a force even he could not quell. He retreated to his icy citadel, his empire shaken. Though Claus's influence remained, his power was no longer absolute. In the years that followed, whispers of the old ways spread, rekindling the spirit of the solstice in villages and towns across the world. Ow! The fires of resistance burned brightly, a reminder that even the darkest shadows could not snuff out the light. Merrick returned to his people as a hero. While Finn continued to travel, his name becoming a legend among those who fought to preserve their traditions. And though Claus remained in his icy fortress, brooding over his defeat, he could never silence the flame of the solstice, a quiet, enduring light that outlasted even the longest night. Well, that was amazing. Why don't we go down to the smoking room where we can try to review what the hell we just read. Ah, well, there you are. I feel I should apologize. That last half of the story, you could probably hear a heater going on in the background. That's me running a heater in my cold oh, God damn it, my wife's words. My cold basement. That poor little heater's been working overtime since it's gotten to be like single digits here in Minnesota, America, here in December. So, what do we learn here? Oh, first of all, enjoy yourself here, seated in my smoking room. You see the baboon's skull there on the coffee table before you. If you take its cranium off the top, you can see that it's filled with cigarettes. Enjoy a cigarette, perhaps, maybe if you're cigarillo, whatever the hell you want. And son of a bitch! Oh, god damn. This story wasn't great by any means at all, but it's stupid and funny, much in the way my wife and I would write for Just In the Curious Mind. It's on that level. Something that my wife can crank out, not as fast as AI, but, just as mindlessly, where she's like watching TV and half writing and just kind of makes a story, and she's like drinking and smoking cigarettes or whatever. And then all of a sudden she's like, okay, story's done. And then we like make an episode out of reading it. I'd like to think that somehow humanity is able to create something more intricate and better. But to be honest, by just constantly harassing AI to keep making the story longer and throwing in a few things like the kid with the disability and then also like the elf that Santa wants dead, it didn't do the worst job in the world. I have to give it credit for that. Even though I don't like the idea of AI, I have to give it credit. It did an okay job. You got Santa, like I said, who just wants to take these pagan holidays and then just make it materialistic. So it actually did an okay job showing like pagans just want to have a Yule log and just want to like give gifts and pray that the sun comes back again or whatever. Whatever. It's not accurate or anything like that. But at the same time, then Claus comes in like, I've given you gold and presents or whatever, and all the children go flocking to it, and all the pagan parents are like, what are you doing? And then Finn, the boy with the twisted leg, winds up being kind of a hilarious little character, like this resistance character. And then Merrick the elf, who's a pain in Claus's ass, but Claus doesn't kill him or anything because he's too good at making toys. So it did kind of a good job. It did the bare bones basics of making a story that I definitely laughed at. So there you go. That's your Christmas. A Christmas without humanity. A Christmas written by a computer, by Silicon Valley assholes that make shitloads of money and are narcissists and just horrible people. They're probably still doing the thing where they draw blood from young men with beautiful bodies to try because they're convinced it's going to keep them young forever. They created this, and I used it for my episode. So God bless those ageless men and women in Silicon Valley and wherever the hell else they go. I guess they're all leaving Silicon Valley to go to cheaper places like Arizona or Texas because their companies are horse shit and they're struggling to make money and they're always grifting all the time, so they got to go to places with bigger tax benefits. God bless them. God bless them, each and every one. And God bless you, huh? Yeah, look at me turning around on you here on Christmas. And that's kind of it. I'm tapped out. All right, well, I'll probably see you next week, maybe, if you want to keep hearing me read about a space alien that may or may not molest a woman. With that, goodbye. Well, it appears you found me in the part of the podcast I hate the most, where I tell you all about the places on the internet where you can find me. You can tell I hate this because of the sound effects making it sound like a stormy night in the drawing room of the damned. Now, are you cool? I like cool people. It's the reason why I got involved in this business to begin with, just to meet cool people, not losers. So if you're cool, feel free to go over to my website, nuzzlehouse.com. But if you go there, you get to hear some of the other stuff that I and my wife work on, like the Radio Mystery Theater show, where we try to recreate the same show that used to be on in the 70s, but they don't make any episodes anymore. So we make our own, and we just steal all their commercials. And also, just in the curious mind, we made a Christmas album. If you go to our link tree, you can see that we made a Christmas album. It's the first thing we did after getting married, which I think everyone should do when they get married, is start talking about the Christmas album they're going to make. And since I think you might be cool, you can always just email me directly. glenn.nuzzles@gmail.com. But don't email if you're a nerdlinger or a dork. Now, back to business. I can't believe I drank all of them already. There's got to be one left.